Look, watch this, guys. I can ride a dragon. Shut up. No one asked. I want to know how much damage Assassination Rogue does on 7 targets. Well, I might not be able to give you that much information, but we are going to be reviewing every single melee DPS spec for Mythic Plus on Dragonflight. Hello guys, how is it going? Welcome to episode 13 of my melee DPS, the best DPS series, where we're reviewing every single melee DPS spec on the Dragonflight beta for Mythic Plus. Today we have Feral Druid, so this is the final spec that we are reviewing. I kind of can't believe it, we managed to make it all the way through already, it's crazy. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you very much for all of your support. We've made it over 1,000 subscribers already, which is just blown me away. It's absolutely crazy. I had originally planned to try and get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Sometimes I'd heard it takes up to like 1 or 2 years, but specifically for this series, you guys have come out in force and it's been amazing. So I really do appreciate that. Let's just immediately get started. This is a 9 out of 10. I am so surprised. I really didn't think that Feral was going to be that good. Not many people that I know play Feral, so to get a bit of an excuse out there, this is all off my own back, really. I've had a little bit of help from like Boomkin mains who have given me some ideas, but as I've slowly gotten up to speed with the talent tree, understood how the spec actually plays, I've gotten more and more fond of this spec. It's simple in the way that it plays, but highly effective and has an amazing set of utility and like changes in rotation as you play Mythic Plus, which is awesome. I really like it. Like, I'm super surprised with how good it is. The main issues that Feral really have on live at the minute is just the fact that it doesn't bring that much AoE damage. It has great single target, it has great priority damage, it's very tanky, it brings decent utility, right? But it just doesn't have the AoE damage that it needs. That's completely changing. So when we go through the 3 big dubs and the 3 big L's, you'll see that, but honestly, that's getting patched over. The only reason why it's not a 10 out of 10 is because I really think that owl weaving is still going to be a thing, and I just despise the idea that owl weaving even exists in the first place. Like, why do I go into Moonkin form as Feral? Like, it's not like Boomkins go into Cav form, I don't think, right? Unless, I mean, let me know in the comments if that is the case, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen. I know that Resto goes into cat form, which makes sense, right? Because you're doing healing and then you go into a damage spec, but to go from one damage form to another damage form seems weird. I don't know how they fix it. I don't know enough about the class to understand if it's going to be that much of a thing in the next expansion, but as far as I understand, you're not GCD capped, right? Like, you get to points where you have your bleeds up and you have no combo points and no energy. Well, at that point you drop into Moonkin form and you'd be using Moonfire, Starfire, and then coming back into cat form when you've got more energy again. So yeah, I don't know how they fix it. I don't know if there's like some talents in here that maybe I haven't taken that would mean that you're GCD capped. I'm really not sure, but at the moment it feels like owl weaving still exists, so that's the reason why I can't give it a 10 out of 10. If owl weaving didn't really exist, then this is a 10 out of 10 for me. It's just gaining in every shape and form for what it needs, specifically for AoE and Mythic Plus. Like, it's doing incredibly well. The changes that Blizzard have come up with are awesome. Yeah, very impressed. So in terms of the first big win then, so the first big win is literally just a single node, tear open wounds. So if you don't know how Feral works, basically your AoE comes from using swipe to build up combo points and then primal wrath on life. Like, that's really your AoE. You can then, whilst rips it out, you can then use ferocious bites, and then you can use primal wrath to extend. So you always have rips up on all of your targets. Your rip damage is uncapped, right? So you're doing like uncapped AoE, but when you have your rips out, between then you're using ferocious bite, which is essentially a single target, right? So you're very limited on the amount of AoE that you can do, because even if you're getting more combo points, you're not going to spend it on primal wraths because you're only getting the upfront damage, which is a very small proportion of the damage. Most of it comes from look, so on 4 targets, right, primal wrath is doing whatever that is, an eighth, no, sorry, like a fifth of the damage, right? So It's much, much lower. Well, now you're getting Tear Open Wounds, which means that Primal Wrath consumes up to 4 seconds of rip damage on targets it hits and deals 75% of it instantly. So let's just show you roughly what you can do with this, right? So we'll get up full Primal Wrath here, and then okay, you can just spend 2 points, spend 2 points, spend 2 points, spend 2 points, right? And Tear Open Wounds is doing a lot of damage, so you can like spam it at 2 points because you only need 2 points to get 5 seconds, so you're instantly cashing in that 4 second bonus, right? So you can actually do uncapped AoE now with that. It's not a huge amount, but you can do uncapped AoE, and you'll see shortly once we go through some of the other wins how this is going to interact. So it all sort of like starts to fall into place, and yeah, it helps your AoE damage a lot. So that's the first big win. The next big win is this note here. So Rampant Ferocity, Ferocious Bite hits all nearby enemies affected by your rip with 25% of the damage dealt, damage reduced beyond 5 targets. So this node here is making Ferocious Bite cleave, and it paired up with Sabertooth, which is a talent from Live, right? So Ferocious Bite deals 20% increased damage and increases all damage dealt by your rip with 4% per combo point spent for 4 seconds. So, again, I'll show you this rotation, right, with Primal Wrath and Ferocious Bite, but what it means is because of Sabertooth, you're going to want to get a maximum combo point Primal Wrath out. You'll then Ferocious Bite, and then you can start, if you want to, you can even use like 2 combo points onto a Primal Wrath, right? Or you use like, I like using 3 or 4 because usually what happens is you get out a Primal Wrath, you then build them enough combo points for Ferocious Bite. You only have like let's just say that you only have 6 seconds, or you need the 6-second window, sorry, to be able to build up enough combo points again to get back into Ferocious Bite. So for me, it feels like it's about right to use 3 combo points. So use a 3 combo point Primal Wrath and a Ferocious Bite and a 3-pointer, or you just swap between these two. Both of them are doing AoE damage, and it adds up to a lot. So before, you would literally just maintain Rip, right, and then Ferocious Bite in between. That's just completely different now. You are like doing a lot of AoE damage because both of these have significant improvements in AoE. So let's just show you a rough AoE opener, right? So we'll Rake, we'll Thrash, we'll get max combo points. Let's Berserk, Tiger's Fury, Primal Wrath, Bite, Primal Wrath, Primal Wrath, Bite, Primal Wrath, Bite, Primal Wrath, like, and it just like sits around this damage peak as well. Like it's not unheard of to be doing like 65k damage, right? Tiger's Fury's still going as well. It's crazy, but you can do a lot of damage with this build, and you can see. So let's just run through this quickly, right? This is uncapped. This is uncapped. This is single target. This is uncapped. This is reduced damage beyond 5 targets. This is reduced damage beyond 5 targets. Uncapped, uncapped. 2 target, single target, uncapped, I think. Yeah, uncapped, right? So what are we doing? We've got 1, we've got 2%, 4%, let's call that 5%. Say roughly, like, let's just call it 20% of your damage is non-AoE there. 80% of that damage is AoE, and there's very little of it that's even like, there's another 25, so probably upwards of 50% of your damage profile is uncapped AoE now with this build. So it's actually crazy, like really, really good. And these two nodes just play off each other perfectly, man. Like these 3 nodes here work together seamlessly to make your rotation feel really, really good. And again, it's super simple and effective. Like a really simple yet effective AoE rotation now, which is awesome. I kind of can't believe that Feral's actually getting AoE damage. It's cool, right? Okay, and then the final thing that I want to note, right, so is on Live currently, you would take Moonkin Infinity and you get Typhoon. So that is your AoE stop. You still have Maim, so you have a single target stop and you have an AoE stop, right? Well, now you can take Ursol's Vortex, right? You can take Incap Roar as well. You can still take Heart of the Wild, yeah, for some off healing. You can take Stampeding Roar, which is down to a 1-minute cooldown. Yeah, you have all of this utility. You still have Soothe. You can get into DK's Dispel if you want to. You can get into Hibernate if you want to. Cyclone's a bit harder to get into because you have to dedicate like literally 4 points here, just these 4 points into it, so it's kind of hard. You can go back and get Wild Growth if you want. If, to be honest with you, what I would say is if you're going to try and do any sort of off healing with Heart of the Wild rather than Owl Weaving, right? So if this wants to become a healing cooldown, instead what I would do is I would drop like I'd probably just drop all of the Owl Weaving, right? And then I'm coming back where else do I want to spend? I should just taken this, and I'd come back like this. Probably something like that, right? So you can do a healing Heart of the Wild, or if you wanted to, so if you were in the tree that we had before where you could still have Owl Weaving, then maybe you drop like these points and you can take Nature's Vigil, so you're getting a bit of free off healing, right? So you're getting, just to recap that, right, above what you take on live currently, you're getting a 1 minute Roar, you're getting in-cap Roar, which is it's an awesome AoE stop, you're getting Ursol's Vortex, you're getting access into off healing if you want, right? So you're gaining all of this utility, which is really, really strong. Especially in cap Roar. I mean, you have to waste a 2 GCDs, so this isn't like, I'm trying to think, just any other AoE stop. So DK's Blinding Sleet is just 1 global. Well, because you're in cap form and this is, you have to go into bear form, then that's 1 global, and then you're going back into cap form, so that's 2 globals, right? So you don't want to use it. It's like quite a big DBS loss. So it's 2 globals to like AoE stop, but it is another AoE stop beyond Typhoon, right? It would be great if they made that usable in cap form, but I doubt that's going to happen. I think it'd be pretty broken if it did. You'd have 2 insanely strong single target stops. Sorry, AoE stops with your single target stop, right? So yeah, I doubt that's going to happen. In terms of the losses then, so those are the 3 wins. Just to quickly recap, Tear Open Wounds exist. Rampant Ferocity with Sabertooth, those are 2 separate wins that all combining to make your AoE insanely strong. The last win is Utility, yeah. In terms of losses, the first loss that I'm going to bring up again is Owl Weaving. So at the moment, I think from what I've tested with a single target build, you still have downtime where you're just tapped out on energy, no combo points to spend, bleeds are up, therefore you can drop into Moonkin form, Moonfire, Starfire, and then back into cat form again. It's like 3 globals to get out, just essentially more free damage whilst your energy's regenerating. So I don't know how they ever fix that, but I just really dislike that exists. Like, I don't think that should exist at all. I know you can take a point like over here to make Moonfire usable in cat form. I don't know whether you could add like another point that makes Starfire usable, at which point you would just never drop into Moonkin form. I'm not sure. I mean, I want to come through this anyway just for this Astral Influence. So all abilities yours have got 5 yards of distance, right? So, like, look, I can just single target from over here. So you've got a range like that long, which is really nice. It's super good for M+. Like, can you see that swipe is still hitting? So you've got a huge radius of your swipe, right? Like, that's hitting all 4 targets. Primal Wrath again, right? Like, it's just hit all targets even though I'm standing over here. So you want to be able to take that, but I just hate that you have to use Moonkin form, especially with Heart of the Wilds. It's silly. The next loss then, so this isn't, again, everything other than the Owl Weaving, right, is minor points. I'm having to call, like, make up losses, really. So you are losing a little bit of single target in comparison to live currently. However, bear in mind you're gaining all of this AoE. So on live, I would say Feral is like one of the strongest single targets, one of the strongest single target specs, especially for Mythic Plus, right? And you bring a lot of priority damage. That is slightly changing. Now, the reason why I say that is because the build that I just ran is like full on into AoE. You don't have 1-min Convoke. You aren't taking like Blood Talons over here, for example, right? There's a few things that you're like losing out from live, which means you won't be as good single target. However, you're gaining all this AoE, so it's just something to bear in mind. It's not that bad. Like, you could just drop Lion Strength here and go back into Blood Talons. You could drop this Tiger, Carnivorous Instinct over here, and then you'd probably drop like either Rip and Tear or Circle of Life and Death, and then all of a sudden you've got one main Convoke back. Like, if you want to drop back into single target, you can. It's just that you are losing AoE. Yeah, if that's making sense. So you have a little bit of single target loss over live. The final loss, which isn't that big. I mean, it was quite a big portion of your AoE, but it's not like huge, but it's definitely a loss again. So 4 set, when you press Berserk before, what it would do is it would do damage like uncapped AoE around you, right? You're not getting that, so that's another little loss. In terms of notable mentions, right? This node here I absolutely love. So Raging Fury and Tiger's Tenacity. Okay. So I think Raging Fury is almost just hands down better. So finishing moves extend the duration of Tiger's Fury by 0.4 seconds per combo point spent. Okay. That means that if you spend 5 combo points, you get an extra 2-second extension on Tiger's Fury. That's insanely good. Insanely good. With like Apex procs in this, I'm telling you, you can have like 75-80% uptime on Tiger's Fury. Really, really strong. That means that I'm pretty sure you want to be taking this node. I don't know whether you might drop even Circle of Life and Death just for that flat 6% damage increase, to be honest. Like, that could easily be the case because this is like insanely strong. But what you can do is you can come for this Tiger's Tenacity. So Tiger's Fury causes your next 3 finishing moves to restore 1 combo point. So remember earlier when I was saying that the way that Tear Open Wounds works, right? So you're consuming 4 seconds of your remaining Primal Wrath to instantly do 75% of its damage, of the rip damage. So let's just get out this. Then like you could just, if you wanted to, like spam 2 to 3 combo point Primal Wraths, right, for like a bunch of uncapped AoE damage. Well, legitimately, this might be the case where you want to take Tiger's Tenacity because you're just getting a free combo point every single time you use a Primal Wrath. And in Berserk, you're already getting 3 combo points back, so you're getting just 2, you can just spam 2 to 3 combo point Primal Wraths, like uncapped AoE, I think. Or even when you're not, because you've just used Ferocious Bite, and then you're getting these extra combo points in Berserk as well, then you get 3 combo points instantly. Maybe you can even like weave in Ferocious Bites in between these 2 to 3 point Primal Wraths, right? It's cool. I like this choice node, that this might be like insanely good on like uncapped AoE. Burst windows as well, like big burst windows, like that's great. The extra combo point generate, like PvP, this is probably what you take. It's a cool node choice. I really like it. Other notable mentions, so you get as all of your tankiness, really. You can still get, like, I haven't taken Frenzied Regen down here, but you can still take Well-Honed Instincts, right? So you, whenever you drop low, you'll get some free healing. I mean, it's not the best thing, I don't care too much about that, but you can still take Ursine Vigor. You have Survival Instincts, right? You have Bark. You're incredibly tanky still. There's not much change in there. The final thing, which I sort of mentioned in the wins as part of utility, but you can take your off healing if you want. Like, you can do off healing. You do have to drop like your owl weaving capabilities and this node here, so Astral Influence. I would like it if this could, like, I don't know, maybe take here. I'm really not sure. I don't know what I would change, but I would love it if you could get this and still heal. I think that would be awesome. At the moment, it doesn't really feel like you can, but it still is a possibility. You can go back and take a healing if you want, so that's cool. Okay, so let's just do a quick overview then. It's a 9 out of 10, right? We've got 3 big wins, which mean that the AoE is getting insane. You're getting great utility in terms of losses, right? The losses aren't that big. The main one that I dislike is owl weaving, but that's really just personal preference. It's more of like a, I don't even know what you'd call it, like a fantasy sort of loss. I just don't like that it exists. But it's looking really, really good. Like, I'm so surprised. I did not expect to give Feral a 9 out of 10. I just didn't. I'd looked at the changes before, and before I'd really understood like what the implications of these sort of nodes were for AoE in Mythic Plus. I really had no idea that it was going to be this good, but it's really, really strong. The AoE damage that it's getting is real. Like, it is an actual threat in Mythic Plus now. Okay, so with all that done, let's do a gameplay review, right? Trying to think, what do I want to show you? Let's do a... Should we do an AoE opener again? How many points have I spent on the bottom here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Should do something with... Let's do an AoE opener with ink on here. We'll do a big AoE opener. We'll come back. We'll show you Convoke. We'll show you Adaptive Swarm. We'll show you Feral Frenzy. We'll show you Brutal Slash. We can show you Tiger's Tenacity as well. Otherwise, most of this stuff is passive damage or just abilities that are like really baseline, you know. I can show you through those. Honestly, there's not much in the baseline tree that we need to show you through, but we can show you all. Okay, let's start with a big AoE opener. We'll get our bleeds up. We'll get Thrash up, right? Pop all of our stuff. Bite. And then Primal Wrath. And then Bite. Primal Wrath. 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 Look, like the damage is just climbing. Bite. Primal Wrath. Bite. Primal Wrath. Like, its damage is here. And like I said before, like so much of this is like uncapped AoE. It's crazy, crazy good. Like there's not many classes that sustain like 60k at the minute. Obviously all of this is subject to tuning, but it's really strong. Super simple as well. Like I love the rotation. Kind of feel like I might be taking Druid up as one of my choices for Dragonflight. What the hell am I thinking? Why do I like Feral so much? This is so weird. I'm not a fairy. Yeah, that's the main AoE opener. Right, what do we want to show you? Let's do... So Rip and Tear, just to quickly show you, is just like a flat like 6% damage increase on Primal Wrath. So this Tear here, right, is just like 6% of the damage. You can see that damage. Is that more than 6%? Oh, it's still ticking. I guess based on crits it could change as well, but let's like, it should be roughly 6% of that. What else is there interesting? Apex. So Apex here I've got a proc, right? It just means that that bite was free and hit for 5 combo points. So it's based on rip damage, right? So if we just walk away now, we might get a proc of Apex. It's a talent on live. There's no... Was it? No, I'm pretty sure it's a talent, right? But your rips that you get out, if you have more rips, I think it scales. So here, look, we've got an Apex proc. So this will hit for 5 combo points now, right? So that's just done a 5 combo point damage, even though I didn't have any combo points. So it's super useful because of this Sabertooth interaction, right? So because of Sabertooth, then Apex is very good on AoE because you're getting free Sabertooth procs into your Tear Open Wounds and Primal Wrath damage. Yeah, so Apex is very good. Circle of Life and Death. So this literally just means that your dots, your bleeds, tick 25% faster. It's not the same as being hasted, I don't think. Right, so when it says your damage over time effects deal their damage in 25% less time, if you had 25% haste, you would get 25% more ticks in 9 seconds. I think this actually reduces the duration from what I understand, so it's slightly different. But that again is working with Tear Open Wounds, right? So this is a legendary effect from live. Again, I've never played Feral, right? This is all off what other people have told me, but because that reduces the duration, right, then that means you're going to get Tear Open Wounds more, the time that you spend it is going to be more efficient, right? Because if you get out a 5 or 6 second Tear Open set of rips, then you want to Tear Open Wounds at like 4 seconds, where you're going to be rocking that 4 second point faster, if any of that makes sense. But trust me, that is an AoE damage increase because of Tear Open Wounds. Well, even just because of Primal Wrath, to be honest, because that means you can use it more often, but it is. Solar Forest, again, a talent, I want to say. It's just energy efficiency, right? So basically turns a 5-point Ferocious Bite from a 25 energy cost to a 10 energy cost, yeah? And then you're getting increased damage. Cool. Let's show you Convoke. Let's just drop this. Convoke is probably one of the coolest abilities in the game. It's a Covenant ability from the Night Fae Covenant for Druids, right? And basically based on the form that you're in, you channel 12 abilities in 3 seconds. So you can see there, one ability press is just done, or whatever that is. But we're taking bleeds, obviously, but it was like 140k damage up front, so I got... How many bites did I get? I got 3 bites out. Oh, that's interesting. That's not proccing Rampant Ferocity. That's bad. So that really isn't getting affected by AoE. Huh, I wonder if that's a bug. I'll report that. But yeah, that's a really cool ability. I love it. It's a little 1 minute cooldown. Awesome. Let's show... Oh, I can't swap these out now, can I? Take these out. We'll show you Feral Frenzy. We'll show you Adaptive Swarm as well. So, Feral Frenzy is a pure single target increase, but because of the combo point generation, obviously it could be useful in AoE. So let's just spend those combo points. So Feral Frenzy, what it does is it's a talent point again from live, I'm pretty sure, but it does a bunch of single target damage, like a lot of single target damage, but then gives you 5 combo points. So if you watch here, so I've just done a bunch of single target damage, left up this big bleed, and you've got 5 combo points. So like bursty single target, you can come and get this. That's very good for PvP. Do you know what I mean? But it's a combo point generator, which means that you might be able to like weave more Primal Wraths and Ferocious Bites, so it could be good. Adaptive Swarm, this is the Maldraxxus, the Necrolord Covenant ability, right? It basically means that it increases your damage done to the target in terms of damage over time effects, so it means that your Moonfire and Bleeds or whatever are doing more damage, right? So like your Rip, Rakes and Thrashes, yeah? And it then jumps to different targets, so if I just use this here, you see that's got 3 charges, so it means it's going to jump to new targets and then it'll split each time it jumps now. So when this finishes, it should jump, and there'll be 2 of them out. So you can see here, look, it's just jumped, and there's one over here on someone. It's now got 2 charges. Did one start doing damage? No, there's no damage there. I don't know where the other one went, but when this one jumps, it should go back to enemies. So one's gone over there. Where's the other one? On one of these? But there should have been like 2 damaging ones out here, and again, they're just increasing periodic damage. I think it's more useful for like based single target-y windows than AoE, so again, maybe good for PvP, not entirely sure. That's how it works. Is there anything else that I want to show you? Yeah, let's show you Brutal Slash. So again, this is not particularly useful for Mythic Plus, right? I don't think I would ever want this because it replaces Swipe. So you see here, Swipe is being replaced by Brutal Slash. It does a lot more damage, but it's now on a charge and cooldown system. So like it does damage, right? Like it hits, but I then can't generate combo points for in AoE. I would have to be using Shred. So I think this is only going to be really good in like burst AoE situations in Raiden. For example, the Jailer. Jailer, for example, right? In Sepulchre, you have almost all single target, but then when it comes to AoE, you want to burst AoE, the mind control effects, as quickly as possible. So on Mythic, it was all about like single target, single target, single target, and then just burst some AoE, like cleave into the mind control people, because you want to get them out of it as quickly as possible so that they can keep doing damage, but also so they don't jump off the edge. Brutal Slash is probably perfect for that scenario, so it's great that you can take that. Wild Slash is a decent passive alternative, but Swipe isn't that much of it. It's a decent amount of damage, so maybe you do take this. It's just up to Sims. Do you know what I mean? Whether this is better than like his Fury damage over here or something, who knows? But yeah, I think everything else is passive. I can show you Double Clawed Rake. So look, Rake just always goes on to at least 2 targets. So in small, like 2 target cleave or like 2 target on in Mythic Plus, right? That's great. A free little bit of spread cleave damage. But let's show you Tiger's Tenacity as well. So when let's just oh no, I want to get rid of Brutal Slash. It's annoying. Okay. So let's just show you. We've got max combo points, right? And I'm going to spend, and look, I've got 3 again. Spend, I've got 1. Spend, I've got 3 points, right? It's just the next 3 finishes that you use gain 1 combo point, which I think could be good in AoE. It's going to be way better for PvP and like burst damage, but it's decent. Cool. Is there anything in here that I really want to show you? I mean, 1 minute raw, like 1 minute cooldown on raw. It's crazy. Like that. It's very, very good for Raiden. Like that's insane in my mind for Raiden. But for Mythic Plus, like there's a lot of downtime. Maybe 20-30% of your key time is like just running between packs and stuff. So AoE movement speed increase, good for Mythic Plus as well, man. Very, very good. Do this much else. I mean, again, I'll show you in cap raw, right? So you come into bear form, in cap raw, and then you'd have to go back in a cap form to do damage again. There's really not much else. Air souls you get in, right? So it and can kite. Like you can use knockbacks then, so you could use Typhoon and it'll snap them all back into one place. So it's like a grip. You can use it as like a mini grip function to like group adds up. Yeah. I think that's it. So if you jump to the end, I don't know why you would have done. I told you the rating straight away, but if you jump to the end because you want to know how good Feral is, in my mind this is a 9 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10 because owl weaving still exists. So I just dislike that. That's more of a personal preference thing. It's insanely strong. The 3 big wins, it's getting Tear Open Wounds with Rampant, Frenzy, and Sabertooth over here. So these are 2 wins that I'm giving it. Massively increasing your AoE damage. Single-handedly, those 3 nodes there, those 2 sort of sides, just carrying your AoE damage and it's doing the work, man. It is really, really good. The final win is utility. You're gaining a lot of utility. You get Other Souls, you get in-cap raw, you get 1 minute raw, you still can take soothe, you can take off healing fairly easily if you want to. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really, really strong. The losses that it was getting, the first loss was owl weaving, which I just mentioned. The next loss was that you're losing a little bit of access to single target, I think, over live. So, like 1 min convoke does mean that you're losing AoE. So, on live currently you do a lot of single target and priority, but then not great AoE. Well, now you're going to lose a little bit of that niche, I think. Again, it's really not that big of a loss. And the final loss is that 4-set isn't coming forwards, which is just like free AoE damage. But again, I'm trying to make up losses here because honestly, I really like this tree. So much so that I might even be taking up a druid next expansion. Who knows? I don't know. I kind of don't want to, but possibly. It's definitely on the cards. I'll leave it at that. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, it'd be awesome if you could drop me a thumbs up and subscribe. That would be amazing. It helps out massively with the YouTube algorithm. If you have enjoyed it, hopefully you'll tune into the tier list next. My God, we're going to do the tier list next. Jesus. But yeah, if you have enjoyed it, we'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers, guys.